guys, welcome back. Some really quick changes. I disbanded the peasants because I don't really need them anymore, and I just want to maximize my overmap speed. I did goof. I realized looking at the list of heroes, I believe Marnid you actually make a siege tactician, not a trader, because in this group is Katrin, who also has high trade, and unlike Marnid, she is a higher level, and generally speaking, since there's more things to upgrade in Siege Tactician, you could arguably make Marnid your Siege Tactician instead because of his extra levels, kind of thing, and just focus Katrin on trade. So I'll probably carry on with that. I know there's other characters you can set up. It's not a huge deal. Like you can get I think Nazar has a surprisingly high intelligence, despite being made implying to be a combat character. So it really doesn't matter. But I think I might go with that instead. I think the combat characters in this group are Bunduk and Nazar. I'm trying to think. Jeramis is the first doctor, Ymir is the second doctor, Clethi is the looter, Shavi is your scout, Marnid's your siege tactician, Katrin is your... Am I forgetting someone? 2 doctors, siege tactician, looter trader. I think I'm missing someone. I cannot remember who. I'm sure someone will know. Also, I have the list, I know, so I can do it myself. But so it goes. And more looter fights, which, of course, at this point are quite easy. I'm trying to remember who the extra person was. If you cannot tell, I'm looking it up in the background. I think I said them all. Yeah, so Deshavi becomes your scout, Clethi's your looter, Jeramis and Ymir are your medics, Katrin is your trader, Marnid's your siege tactician. Yeah, and then Nazar and Bunduk you set up for combat. Something like that. We'll see how that works out. Seems the Rodix and Serenids are beating each other up. Can't join that even if I wanted to. There should be a tournament here in Shiraz, although I might have missed it because the night is now over. Okay, here we go. Some of the people we want are right here. So we want Katrin. She requires $100. Jeramis is a doctor and comes along for free. So that is 2 more people. So like I said, Jeramis is very naturally the doctor because that is actually what he is. So you just need to keep putting his points in there. Katrin, the downside of her is one of her main skills is inventory management. She has 7 in it. Yet inventory management's a leader only skill, so unless she's leading armies, which she's unlikely to do, that's kind of a waste of points. She does have trade 3 though, so yeah, I'm probably gonna make her my trader. And make Marnid my siege tactician. I did waste 1 point in charisma. Oh well, I'm not going to restart an entire playthrough because of that. Which I'm sure will make one person mad. They'll be like, oh my god, it's so inefficient. How could you do something so inefficient? But I'm gonna manage to live with myself, I think. So since we won here, I don't think our betting is going to be as efficient. If you saw the brief flash there, it said we had 40 and 7. I think normally the odds are higher or worse than that. We just sent a horse flying through the air. I don't know if anyone saw that. I'm very proud of myself. Putting that on my resume. Can flip horses. Momentous occasion. Keep knocking these people down. Uh-oh. 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 Sneak in here. No. Damn it. Okay, now I'm slightly worried. Have bump. Damn it. Yeah. I'm super scared here. There we go. Thank you, Captain. Gentleman and a scholar. And we just knocked over Jeremis. Welcome to the crew. Here's a wooden sword to the back of the head. Welcome to the team. I did rest a few days back in Jelkala just to get my health back, because while you don't lose health like out in between rounds, you do enter tournaments with whatever health you had. So if you are pretty much dead at the start of a tournament, you finish pretty much dead in a tournament. So it behooves you to heal up, rest up before a tournament, which is what I did. Now with Jeremis as part of our crew, that'll become easier. Wound treatment increases the speed at which you recover your health. So that'll be nice. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta point blank throw javelins at people, you know? Come on. There we go. Still, I have decided what heroes I want, but that does not have any real indication on what type of army or faction I want to join, because none of them really care. So that is still up in the air. As far as past armies I've pretty much done most of it, if not all of it. I have done, let's see, I have done Couraged only, all Horse Archer and Lancer mixes, the classic Couraged army. Of course, does well in field battles, but kind of just rolls over and dies in siege battles, as everyone jokes about. Leather is not the best armor for heavy infantry, so still, I have no qualms about playing Courageous. They're pretty fun. I mainly did it as a theme thing, because I was also playing Horse Archer on that character. I have done Swadian. That's the only Courageous army I've done. Swadia, I have done cavalry only, so all knights and men-at-arms. That, of course, especially in native, completely dominates field battles. Everyone just loses their mind trying to fight in heavy cav. And they do better at sieges than the Courageous do, because at least dismounted knights and men-at-arms are at least passable, if not still high tier, very high tier infantry units. So there's not too much bad blood there. I have done a more balanced Swadian army, but I think that was in Florus. That's because I wanted to kind of do a Bretonia-esque, here's some peasants joining in with the knights kind of thing. So I did a lot of peasant bowmen, because I think Florus is the one where Swadia switches from a crossbow to a bow faction, I think. But that was a pretty short playthrough. I think I just set up my own faction and stopped that playthrough, but I have no qualms with doing a balanced army in any case. I say this as a disclaimer from the next things I'm going to explain. Next army I did was a only crossbow erotic army, which was pretty funny. It is more effective than you would think in the field. I find crossbows are actually quite good at doing best arrows, I believe, in the game. But like I was saying, on the field, the crossbows are better than you would think. I find the burst fire of them does pretty well. You can kind of just spray all your shots in at once, and you take down more guys than you would think. They're also pretty good on sieges because you don't run out of ammo as fast. Wait, did I check for companions? Yes, I did. That was Jeremy. They also do well in sieges because crossbows don't run out of ammo, so on defense or on offense, they actually do quite well as far as consistent firing. Also, they are heavier armored and have shields, which means in field battles, they can actually hold their own in melee, and in siege battles, they can either hold their shields up to let the opponent run out of ammo, or just in general, once the enemy gets to them, they fight better. So actually, if you're going to do a only one unit type spam, there's worse picks than all Roddick's crossbows. Besides that, strong warbow, I'm gonna go for perfection or nothing on the warbow, so it's either masterwork or I'm not paying attention. I'm trying to think other armies I've done in the past. I haven't played much of Vaegrs or Sarranids, just never really come up. Oh, I did an all Nord Huskarl army, as I'm sure almost everyone else has done at this point. That was when I did a foot heavy two-hander user kind of thing with throwing weapon mixture. He was very strong. Huskarls are probably, or I don't even know if it's arguable, they are the best infantry in the game, so they do pretty well in sieges. They do kind of miss out on the range potential. It's usually good to have some amount of ranged, especially with siege defenses, and then sometimes with siege offense, although you can sometimes get away with it on siege offense by just having better infantry. But yeah, Mask Huskarls, great in field battles, great at the grind fight for sieges. So as far as armies there, it's great. Usually when I do pure one faction armies, I tend to just skew one unit. I usually don't do a balance just because, well, a lot of the armies aren't meant to do a balance. Like, not even all the armies have access to the holy trinity of unit types. And those that do don't really have good options. Like, Swadia is probably like the only... Swadia, Vaegrs, Sarranids, they're the main ones who have access to all the options. And maybe Swadia and Sarranids you could argue. Maybe actually probably all three you can make an argument for, but there still will be the thought in the back of your mind that, like, hey, your Swadian crossbows aren't as good as Roddick crossbows, or hey, your Vaegr knights aren't probably as good as Swadian knights. That kind of thing. So that, of course, then offers the solution of why not do combined arms, which I have done before. Although, I'll be honest, it's kind of liberating in a sense to do just one faction, because it makes recruitment really easy. You don't need to actually go around from zone to zone and go, okay, I need some Swadians now to make knights, so I need some Roddicks to do some infantry or some crossbows. That kind of thing. So there is a bit of advantage in just going, okay, I'll just go back home for a bit, and I will hire 60 peasants, and that'll be enough, because I'll just mold them into whatever unit type I feel like. But as you can probably tell from all my running around, I don't really care about traveling in the grand scheme of things. So really I shouldn't complain too much about that, but it is a point of consideration that recruiting all from one faction does have its advantages. Let's knife this guy. Oops. Yeah, those are the main bullet points. I'm trying to think if there's any more. Is that guy blue? No. You win the prize then, sir. Actually, you should. You first, guy with shield. So yeah, despite what I've listed, I have no real predisposition towards any of the armies I've done in the past. I'm willing to do them again, or I'm willing to do something entirely new. I should have just held block. That is why I don't like to do that showdown there. I was hoping I could couch, but I failed. Shame upon my family, etc., etc. But in the Tolgan Shrees, in the polls that I was reading, most people liked Roddick, Swedian, Nords, which is fair, totally, because I just explained I've done those all in the past. Also, there's a high amount of people who wanted me to do combined arms. I wasn't sure if people were voting because they thought it would be the most fun or the most interesting to do, or if they were voting like I was asking as a new player, like, hey, I'm new to the game, what type of army should I do? I think there was a bit of confusion there, so I'm not sure how all the votes landed out. If I said, hey, no, I do know how to play the game, which I just totally showcased by totally losing that tournament, but generally speaking, I understand the game. So I wasn't sure if people were asking it or giving advice from a competitive standpoint or a fun standpoint, or even like I want to see this playthrough. Because there are definitely people who I do think got the general gist of it, that it was for fun. Because I got some really funny suggestions like do only mercenaries or only bandits or peasants, or like one that was interesting was do a combined force army. That guy's on my team. Do a combined arms force, but use the weakest in every category. So use use like Nordic archers instead of Saronids or Vaegir's archers, kind of thing. Use Vaegir's cav and use I don't even know, Saronid infantry. I don't know. You know what I mean. Use not what everyone's known for in your combined forces, which was definitely interesting. I'm curious how big of a difference it would make. I think if it went well, it would just kind of showcase that there isn't too much of a difference, as so long as you have high tier units. Doesn't matter where the units are from, but I think there would be a noticeable impact from having weaker units. There's some that would just be probably impossible to do if you actually intend to beat the game. Like, I don't think you could win with just peasants or just bandits. Could probably win with just mercenaries because you could just get enough of them. The problem would be it would be hard to manage because of the upkeep cost of bandits, or not bandits, mercenaries, would be quite high. So you would have to be like constantly on campaign and let the guys die before they cost you too much money. But definitely doable. Hired swords, mercenary cav, manhunters, all the crossbow guys. They're all pretty good. Watchmen and whatnot. It wouldn't be that much of a stretch to just use them, but we'll see. Like I said, jury is still out on what I want to end up doing. I'm just going to focus on myself for now. Myself and recruiting all my heroes. That's where all I will actually start jumping into the game. Of course, just because I go all Nords doesn't mean I need to then help the Nords. For example, I could mix it up. Of course, there are some benefits to sticking with your faction and using your faction troops. You get morale bonuses or penalties depending on who you're at war with. if you're at war with the Nords, any Nords in your party get a negative modifier, for example. So that's something to keep in mind, but it's usually not be-all end-all, as anyone who has done combined forces could tell you. So, probably gonna finish this tournament up and call it here for now. Maybe see if there's bandits nearby or something to finish off the video, but besides that, this one's mostly done, just racking up a bit of change. Of course, it would help if I won all my tournaments, but I'm not going to save scum all of the fights here. Because at that point, I might as well just come by with the full character. I just killed the leader of the Kurgits. He's apparently at a tournament. I think I've already won here, so that's why my bets are worth so little. That is something you need to be worried about. There goes another lord. Luckily, when lords and kings and stuff actually join in the fights, you get higher rewards XP wise, although still not a huge deal. I forgot that whenever you win a tournament, you should just go in here and be nice and say, hey, that one was for you. Yeah. It's not really important because the odds are you're not going to. The extra bit of approval isn't going to really matter, but yeah, we are up to 7,000 or so. We have a decent set of gear. We have about half our companions, I think. We're just going to keep up this process of visiting all the tournaments. Oops. Which apparently there's none. So I might just run into lesser known spots to double check to find any of my companions. That'll probably be in the next one. So I'll see you guys then. Take care.